I want to talk to you about the downfalls of a spiritual practice on our healing journey. When we're healing from chronic pain, chronic fatigue, or any other kind of disease, dis-ease that we're experiencing in our day-to-day life that might be causing us suffering. So a very holistic approach would be meditation, nervous system regulation, yoga. And there's a few other practices that we can do that are extremely beneficial for the human being. I am not dissing these practices at all. They have been such a huge part of my life for the past 10 years. But when it comes to healing trauma, and when I say trauma, I'm referring to the direct relation to our chronic fatigue and chronic pain, which is very often linked. But it is an assumption that it is always trauma, so let's not get too hooked on that. But anyway, when we are looking at chronic pain and chronic fatigue, or anything like that, at suffering, in whichever shape or form that may play out for you, could be addiction, it could be compulsive behavior, anything like that, burnout, whatever it is, unhealthy patterns that just have a huge effect negatively on your life. So when we're just using all of these practices to make us feel better, to just get through the morning, to get through the day in a better way, we are avoiding what's actually going on. We are avoiding the actual root cause. We're not getting to the bottom of it. We're just looking on the surface. We're just trying something, whatever it is, to make that suffering or that pain just a little bit more bearable. It's like putting a plaster on a wound without actually looking whether the wound is a little bit infected or not, and using the right treatment. So, sitting in meditation, being awareness, yes, that's what we are. There is nothing else but awareness. But to practice just sitting in awareness will not bring up the deeper stuff that's buried in our body. And so it can easily become a bypass. We can spend hours sitting in meditation, feeling blissful in that meditation. But what happens when you step out into the real world? How do you deal with everything that you need to deal with, that you're faced with in life? Are you still as blissed out as you were an hour ago on that meditation cushion? Because that's when the real stuff comes up. That's when you're really faced with the challenge and with how you are responding and engaging in this life day to day. So my invitation is to go and inquire. That was really Buddhist of me, wasn't it? My invitation for you is to bring up those memories that may be painful or icky, those situations, those triggers during the day, those childhood memories or traumas, and inquire into those while you're sitting on your meditation cushion. Bring that into your practice. Make that a part of your experience on that cushion. Don't just wait for the stuff to come up, because it won't. It's been buried for a reason. It's been hidden inside this body-mind for a reason. And it's being kept down there for a reason. So you can feel all the bliss you want on the surface. If this stuff is just there, it'll play out in your everyday life. And if there is suffering, be sure that that is the connecting link to this. When we do yoga every morning, why do we do it? What is the reason for it? Is it to get somewhere, to get something out of it? To not include an experience and allow what already is, but to get to another way of feeling or being or moving through the day? What is your purpose behind it? Why do you practice yoga if you do? Or meditation? Because it makes you feel good? And again, there is nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. It is such a beautiful practice to have and to cultivate. But my question is, can you also sit in that meditation pose and bring up all of the shit, all of the darkness, all of the worst memories, the most intense emotions and traumas and triggers? Can you also sit with that and allow it to be there and to dive deeper, to inquire deeper into that? What if that happens again? To feel the fear around it and everything else. And if it does feel too much, too overwhelming, too uncomfortable, do you have ways to regulate your nervous system? To feel safe, to move safely through those experiences, those memories, those triggers throughout the day? Do you have ways to cultivate that self-love and kindness and care that you might need while your body is being triggered, being activated in some kind of way? Do you have ways to really nourish yourself, but to also bring up the dark stuff into your experience? Do you have that balance where you don't get even more thrown off? And if you don't, please make sure that you do look after yourself, that you are kind to yourself, that you're not pushing yourself again too much to try and get through that trauma. I just need to work through this now, head on like the bull, but more to invite it and to see it, to allow it and to feel it fully. Not to get rid of it, but to include this into your experience, no matter how it feels. In a safe and kind and self-loving way, without any agenda. The only agenda may be to just see it for what it is, to feel it for what it is, to simply allow it for what it is, because it's already there. It's already there, it's just hidden, it's just buried, that's all. But it may be running the show, and it won't come up by itself. It can't. So can you provide that loving, allowing space for it to be there? Can you prompt it up? and then give it the space and attention that it needs. And you probably already know for yourself what that is, because it's unique to everybody, to your unique life story, life experience. I hope this helps.